news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM, Dayton's Right Choice. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2011. I'm your host, Triple P, for this morning. And on the phone line, we have Harmony. How are you doing, Harmony?
I am awake. I have my tea with lemon and honey and cinnamon. So, yeah, I'm ready to roll.
Awesome. And then on Discord, we have Laughing Chipmunk. How are you doing?
Honk, honk.
No, it's my ring cam thing buzzing.
Oh, funny.
I gotta shut that off.
All
or
right.
snooze it.
So let's get right into your current events, shall we? We're going to go ahead and start with local news. Yellow Springs Pavilion is petitioning to have more Dave Chappelle shows next month. This is according to Dayton Daily News. Yeah, we've been talking about Dave Chappelle and his comedy club that he's opening up in Yellow Springs called Live from Yellow Springs. He bought out a fire station, and he's going to convert it into two facilities. One is a restaurant and one is a comedy club. And they are going to co-op with each other, the two facilities.
Do we get to slide down the fire poles during dinner?
I don't know. Well, I don't know if they'll still be there. That would be an interesting thing to find out.
No doubt.
Let's see here. Also for Dayton Daily News, many shoppers are not wearing masks in Dayton and violating the law. Yeah, this is a reminder. There is a mask mandate in the city of Dayton. You can be fined if you are not wearing a mask, and I could tell you from observance, there are a lot of people not wearing their masks around here.
Well, you know what the problem with the mandate is, and people don't realize this, and the people that sent the mandate don't get this either. A mandate is not a law. It is something that says we would like you to, but it doesn't mean that you have to. So if they want people to start wearing their masks, they need to make it a law and not a mandate. There is a difference, people.
I know that they're trying to find people who are not wearing their masks. I don't know.
That's unacceptable because, and that's my opinion, and it doesn't reflect WWSU's opinions. But no, a mandate is not a law. It is a request of, we would like you to do this. Yeah. So they really need to check themselves because that's not cool.
All right. So, I would still say wear your mask though, regardless.
I would too. But I'm just saying, if the lawmakers and people like the governor and all that don't mandate it and make it a law, like if you're a governor or some official, you should know a mandate is not a law.
Yeah,
it's a request.
Yeah, definitely though, wear your mask, prevent another lockdown because we are headed in that direction.
We're close.
Very quickly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I still wear mine. Wear yours. Be safe.
Yep, I'm wearing mine right now in the studio. So
there you go.
I know
good.
I know some people say, you take it off for audio quality, and no. I tell everybody at the radio station, keep your mask on even when you're on the air. Safety is more important than audio quality.
First. And besides, your audio quality is just fine.
That's the thing. I hear a lot. I hear some people say, sorry, what was that, Laughing Chipmunk?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah. So I hear some people say, I don't want to wear a mask in the studio because it's going to make me not be audible or people are not going to understand me. I'm going to tell you right now, this is proof right now, a mask does not make you
it doesn't hinder
inaudible.
verbal, yeah, you're good.
Unless if you got one of those, if you got a mask that's too small for your face, then maybe. But you should get a larger mask in that case anyway, but...
Or if it's too thick.
Yeah, don't, like, it's supposed to have 2 pieces of fabric, a 2-layer mask. Don't go any higher than that. All right, anyway, we kind of digressed a little bit. Let's get back on the news here. There was a crash in Dayton on I-75 southbound. All lanes have reopened, according to WHIO. You could read more about the crash at WHIO. Let's see here. Also from WHIO, Ohio AG is suing Greene County florists who brides say scammed them on their wedding days. Ooh.
Oh.
The Ohio Attorney General is suing a Greene County florist whom dozens of brides say no-showed or canceled on their wedding days.
Oh, good God.
A news release from the Ohio Attorney General Dave Yoss's office says that the civil lawsuit his office filed in Greene County Common Pleas Court says Desiree Pace violated the Consumer Sales Practices Act. It says, as she was doing business as Flowers by Desk, she took money but not delivered on her services. Wow.
No, that's mortifying on your wedding day.
Yeah, that's not good at all. Weddings are meant to be a celebration of love, not a chance for a heartless grifter to leave couples empty-handed and upset, Yoss said in a news release. The action won't take the sting away from that day, but I vow to help those couples get some payback. Yoss is seeking restitution for at least 48 Ohioans. So they've scammed 48 people at least.
Oh, good Lord.
Wow. The news release said that they were scammed out of more than $50,000. This is a serious fraud case here,
no
possibly.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wowee. So there is a dispensary coming to Beaver Creek, a marijuana dispensary, according to Dayton Daily News. So be sure to check into that if you have a medicinal card for marijuana. From the Hamilton Journal, area colleges are seeing modest enrollment increases and drops. Modest enrollment increases at area colleges and university and drops at others this fall should be concerning for the region, an education executive says. Schools like Miami University and the University of Dayton are seeing small enrollment increases in their preliminary counts for the fall, and others like Wright State. Everyone should be concerned about enrollment at local colleges and universities, though, because more and more jobs are requiring that people have a 2 or 4-year degree. Cassie Barlow, president of the Southwestern Ohio Council on Higher Education, told the Journal News. Our economy is much stronger, flexible, and resilient with a workforce that has obtained post-secondary credentials. Final enrollment numbers have not been released, but the slight uptick in enrollments at some schools could be an early indication students are returning to campuses following hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's see here. Oh, it doesn't talk about the colleges that are seeing a slight drop. That's interesting. But anyway, you can read more about this at journalnews.com. Continuing on. From WYSO, Dayton officials release plan for federal grant money. Dayton city officials have released a plan for how to spend the $180 million in federal grants from the American Rescue Plan Act. The money will go towards investments that serve communities and businesses hit hardest by the pandemic. Melissa Wilson is Dayton's city purchasing agent, and she says that community investment awards will be given to organizations to support self-sustaining projects. This is one that we are really pushing in hopes that these projects will leverage multiple agencies to make the greatest impact in our neighborhoods, said Wilson. Small businesses and hospitality awards will also be available for local businesses hurt by the pandemic. You can read more at WYSO.com. From WHIO, a motorcyclist was killed on South Smithville Road in Dayton. A 35-year-old motorcyclist was killed after police said another driver pulled out in front of him on South Smithville Road Sunday afternoon, according to a Dayton crash report. Officers responded to the intersection of Arcadia Boulevard and Smithville around 7 p.m.
Oh, God.
Jeffrey Adcox, 35, of Dayton, was driving a motorcycle north on Smithville when a pickup truck pulled out in front of him from Arcadia, according to the crash report. Adcox was taken to the Miami Valley Hospital where he died from his injuries. The driver of the pickup truck had no apparent injuries from the crash. No citation or charges have been filed from the crash, according to online court records.
That's our old neighborhood, Pat.
Yeah, that's close to our neighborhood. Arcadia is just a few streets from where we were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From WDTN, celebrating Hispanic heritage. That's right, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. A Dayton man involved in supporting and bringing awareness to Hispanic organizations. Julio Mateo is part of a 6,200 people who make up Dayton's Hispanic population. He is half Spanish and half Puerto Rican, and through his involvement, he's helping shed light on and support Dayton's Latino community. The Twin Towers neighborhood is home to some of Dayton's Hispanic population. That neighborhood is where St. Mary's is, which is a church that has services in Spanish. It's also close to Ruskin, which has a bilingual program, said Mario. I think there's a lot more Latinos and Hispanics in the area than people realize. A member of the Puerto Rican American and Caribbean organization, Mateo is heavily involved in the community. I'm part of the organization of the Hispanic Heritage Festival, so I coordinate with vendors, the food vendors, the merchandise vendors, said Mario. I'm a big fan and closely associated with the Dayton Salsa Project, which is a local band. Mario's work doesn't stop with festivals and music, and in 2017 he became a part of the Community Police Reform Council working on cultural competence. Nice. In addition to better serving the Hispanic community, he also urges people to support Latino businesses. There's a lot of Mexican restaurants, which we ate at a couple days ago.
I love Mexican restaurants. Yes.
There are all these restaurants that sometimes people don't realize we have in the area. Yeah, we have a lot here in the Dayton area.
Oh, yeah. There's
also a lot of grocery stores like La Michoacana, I think is how you say it, states Mario. Supported celebration does not stop after Hispanic Heritage Month ends with everything the community and culture has to offer. Dia de los Muertos is a celebration that happens after the Hispanic Heritage Month, but it's also another local organization. They organize a parade, said Mario. You can read more at WDTN.com. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and go to global and national news now. We're going to go ahead and start with the New York Times morning edition. It has become the norm during a Democratic presidency. Republicans in Congress threaten to shut down the federal government or even allow the U.S. to default on its debts. These threats used to be much rarer. For most of the 20th century, the raising of the debt ceiling and the funding of the federal government's operations tended to be a sleepy, technical subject. Members of Congress would fight over how to spend money rather than the basic mechanics of enacting that spending. The new era began in the 1990s when Newt Gingrich, the House Speaker, tried to force Bill Clinton to cut Social Security and other programs. Although Gingrich failed, the congressional Republicans adopted his tactics during Barack Obama's presidency and won significant cuts to domestic programs. And now the pattern is repeating itself. So the Dayton Daily News goes into a lot of detail about what the House and the Senate are voting on with regards to the government spending. If you want to check it out, you can check out the Dayton Daily News. The New York Times. And you could sign up.
The best newspaper in the world, at least one of them.
Yeah, and you could sign up. Yeah, and you could sign up for their daily newsletter. here are some of the other headlines that they have for the day. The Federal Drug Administration authorized Pfizer booster shots for people over 65 and those who are in high-risk jobs or are medically vulnerable. The shots could be available as soon as this week. Biden said the U.S. would buy 500 million more Pfizer doses to donate to other countries. The U.S. has now pledged to give away 1.1 billion doses. The Mormon Church said temple visitors and workers should wear masks. The White House condemned actions by mounted Border Patrol agents last weekend, but its response to the surge of hate and migrants had been purposely aggressive. Talks on Capitol Hill about bipartisan changes on policing have failed, unfortunately. Biden and President Emmanuel Macron spoke for the first time since the U.S. left France out of a submarine deal with Australia and Britain. Donald Trump is suing his niece, Mary Trump, and the New York Times, accusing them of improperly obtaining his tax records.
Seriously?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Biden has declared an end to U.S. involvement in foreign wars, but America's wars go on through drone strikes and small deployments. The Federal Reserve could start reversing its pandemic stimulus programs by November. Murders rose 30% in the U.S. last year, the sharpest increase on record, and have continued rising this year.
Good God.
India's Supreme Court ruled that women could pursue top-level military careers. Good for you, India. A volcano is disrupting life on a Spanish island. There's been lava flow, and there's concerns that the lava flow could hit the ocean, and if it does, it could have explosive effects.
Oh, God.
So they've been evacuating the island. Jim Justice is the governor of West Virginia, the state's richest man and a high school girls basketball coach, and now he's angry that he cannot coach a boys team, too. So that's what the New York Times has. We're going to go to Cheddar Need to Know now. So as we mentioned, the Pfizer vaccine has been authorized for a booster shot for those who are 65 or older or at high risk of contracting the virus, including at the jobs. U.S. officials, according to the Associated Press, are releasing some of the Haitian migrants who have congregated at the southern Texas border town of Del Rio into the country to await asylum hearings while continuing to deport others on flights back to Haiti. The sudden surge of migrants is being attributed to confusion over the White House immigration policies combined with misinformation being shared on social media and WhatsApp that is leading more people to make the trip. Excuse me for a moment. There was something that got in my mouth. President Biden, according to Politico, is taking a more hands-on approach in getting his economic agenda through Congress, huddling with both progressive and centrist Democrats whose divisions are threatening to torpedo more than $4 trillion in new spending. The party is deeply divided over the size, scope, and timing of both the infrastructure bill and the $3.5 trillion social spending bill. And there's a series of deadlines looming. The House plans to take up the infrastructure bill next week. There's also a deadline to fund the government approaching, followed by another deadline to raise the debt ceiling. Republicans say they'll allow a default if Biden doesn't abandon the $3.5 trillion bill. Oof.
Yeah, that man needs to improve his memory.
I mean, I will say that is one thing that is definitely something that I'm not with on Biden is we don't have the money to be spending that much. I know
no kidding. That's what hyperinflation is happening right now. That's why all your prices are going up, 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 and away.
All right. We already talked about murder rates. Axios has an article about that if you want to check that out. Wall Street rallied out of a multi-day slump after the Federal Reserve signaled that it wasn't quite ready to start tapering its aggressive bond buying program that's widely seen as having helped keep the economy from collapsing during the pandemic. The central bank indicated that it plans to start that process later this year. The Fed also held interest rates steady and said it didn't see a rate hike in the cards until next year at the earliest. From the Boston Globe, the restaurant software startup Toast went public with a bang, with shares jumping 63% in their debut on the New York Stock Exchange. The IPO values the company at more than $20 billion. Toast is the second blockbuster IPO to come out of the Boston startup scene in a week after the biotech firm Ginkgo Bioworks scored a multi-billion-dollar valuation in its debut. Too bad Scotty isn't here. He loves stocks. From The Verge, Mike Schroeder, Facebook's chief technology officer and one of the highest level executives, is stepping down from his job after 13 years. It's among the most notable departures at Facebook in years and comes at one of the most turbulent moments in the company's history as the social media behemoth fends off a rolling wave of controversies. All right, well, that concludes your current events for today. We're going to go ahead and take a break from the Wright Morning Show, and when we come back, we're going to get into your daily dose of inspiration. So everybody stick around. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes on the Wright Morning Show.
Hey everyone, check out Rush Week 2021, presented by Alpha Sig Eta Psi here on campus. To find out more information, check out
To the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to get now into the daily dose of inspiration. This comes from Tiny Buddha, written by Nancy Daly. Measuring the quality of your day with a to-be list, not just a to-do list. Here's a quote from Wayne Dyer. Do not equate your self-worth with how well you do in life. You aren't what you do. If you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't.
That's kind of a confusing but cute kind of thing.
Yeah. As you crawl into bed, thump your pillow to make the perfect little cave for your head to rest in. pull the covers up tight under your chin and let go of that big sigh that indicates the day is finished. How do you look back on the waking hours you just experienced? And how do you measure the quality of your day? Most of us will measure our day by what we did. We will reflect back and count the things on the to-do list that we were able to check off. The more check marks, the better. How well we did will also come into play as we reflect back on our doing. The more praise we receive for it, either the self-provided kind or that offered by others, the higher we rank our day in terms of quality. We may compare our daily accomplishments to those of the people who trudge through the hours with us. Did I do more or better than Jim, John, or Mary? No matter how much we goofed up, if Mary goofed up more, then we could sigh with relief and call it a good day as we close our eyes for the night. What happens, however, if you never get done what you wanted to get done, or if what you did was simply more of the same old drudgery that fills most of your days, then what happens? If you didn't do what you had planned well, or heaven forbid, you screwed up royally and had others chastise you for it, chances are you are thumping your pillow a little harder than necessary. Your ability to fall asleep may also be disturbed as you ruminate regretfully over all the things you did that you wish you didn't. Tonight you may be giving Mary something to smile about. So is it safe to say that you had a bad day when you didn't do enough or do it well enough? Only if that is how you choose to measure life quality, the way I did for most of my life. So we're going to pause there before we continue. Can anybody relate to this experience where you're judging the quality of your day by how much you accomplished?
Actually, no.
I
Because
do that too.
I don't just punch my pillow. I punch it with my head, and yeah, I do stick the covers way up under my chin because I've got my nice little lavender tea tree spray on there.
Nice.
But what I do at night when I'm getting ready to doze off is I say that I am grateful for everything that happened during the course of my day, and that, I was able to do the things that I did or help the people that I'd helped. I pray for them, I pray for me, my family, my friends, etc. And then I just kind of let everything else slide out of my spine, down to my root chakra like it's a smoky vapor. And I fall asleep. Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Life Chipmunk?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything that
Oh, gosh.
cutting out real bad.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I just adjusted a setting on Discord, so hopefully it's better for you now. Discord's been really weird the last couple of days.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But
Jeez.
Harmony, could you sum up what you said for Life Chipmunk?
Yeah, I basically said, I punch my pillow with my head, stick my covers all the way up to my snout because I'm smelling my lavender tea tree spray. And then what I do is I say that I'm grateful for everything that happened during the course of my day, the people that I was able to help, the things that I was able to do. I pray for myself, my family, my friends, my clients, and I just kind of let anything negative or anything that bothered me during the day slide out of my spine, which is my root chakra, like a smoky vapor just dissipating into the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never had any trouble with reevaluating my day and saying, "Oh, it was a crappy day." I don't ever remember a time when I've done that, to be honest.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh my God!
Seriously? Why is this not working?
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, why don't you relate?
It's
to
like
her
she
since
starts
she can hear
talking
you?
and then she fades out.
Give me a moment here.
All right.
Let me change more settings on here and see if this helps. Get rid of echo cancellation. Get rid of noise reduction. Get rid of noise suppression. Harmony, say something.
Something. I like it.
Okay, that looks like it's much better. How does that sound, Laffy Chipmunk?
Yeah, a little bit better.
We'll just explain it to her since you heard everything, Triple P, and since she can hear you better.
Unfortunately, we need to continue on in the article for time's sake.
Move on.
Yeah.
I have given the Marys of this world plenty to feel good about over the years. I've spent many nights abusing my pillow and tossing and turning as I reflected back on the dids and did nots in my waking hours. I spent my days as a checkmark addict, a praise dependent, and a competitive comparison seeker. I was compelled to set one goal after the other to constantly add just one more thing to my mile-long to-do list. I believe I had to do in order to feel like I was enough. So I did, and I did, and I did until I could do no more. I got sick. I was forced to cut back on the doing and face the reality of my situation. Now I consider myself a pathological doer in recovery.
That's cute.
Let's see here. Most of us still measure the quality of our daily experiences, the quality of our lives by what we do, and we seldom determine the value of our life experience by how we are or on the beingness of it all. But what would happen if we did? What if you and I ignored the urge to check out the check marks on our to-do list before getting into our PJs and brushing our teeth? What if we sat quietly somewhere before bed and reflected on how we were that day, how we felt, and how others seemed to feel around us?
I do every night. Thank you.
Rather than what we accomplished and who we did more than. Would the quality of our day change? I know the quality of my life has changed since I began to measure my day differently. In fact, my life improved almost immediately when I began, at the end of the day, to reflect on the questions that really mattered. So, according to the author, here are the important questions to ask at the end of the day. How was your day really? Were you feeling peaceful and calm at certain points of your day? If so, you could give yourself lots of points for that. Were you loving and compassionate with Mary when she spilled coffee all over the stuff you were working on? Or did you refrain from honking your horn at the slow driver in front of you that made you 15 minutes late for your appointment? Give yourself even more points if he said yes. Were you mindful and aware of the beauty around you? Did you appreciate it? Did you whisper a few words of prayerful gratitude? Did you seek stillness and quiet at some point for a few minutes at least? Did you take a moment to just breathe and observe the life force within you? Did you reach out a hand of support or offer a few kind words to another, not because you had it on your to-do list, but because it was something you were inclined to do from the start? I'm sorry, from the heart, not the start. Did you smile often? Did you laugh? Did you find moments of unexpected joy? And did you seek them? Did you love what you were doing, or most importantly, did you love the people around you? So, what do you think of those questions, Laughing Chipmunk and Harmony? Do you think those are good questions to ask when we wrap up our day?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm the opposite. I'm not going to ask myself questions. I'm
Don't
just going to
ask
go
questions.
through I'm just going to go through what I just told you, and I'm not going to ask myself questions about the day because I don't know. If you're starting out and you're in her position, I can understand, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never done that, and I don't feel the need to do that for myself. I always notice.
For me, I notice if I ask any questions before I go to bed, then I start getting on a thinking train, and then that disrupts my sleep. So
yeah,
I'm kind of similar. It's better for me if I just don't ask questions, and I just go to bed and relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just come from gratitude that you had a full day, that things went well, whatever didn't go well will change the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't see the point in questions, but yeah, gotcha.
It's definitely something that could potentially be helpful for those who are struggling. Yeah. In terms of changing their perception of the day. But I definitely recommend. I would personally recommend doing some sort of relaxing meditation at night, immediately before you go to bed, or something like that, instead of doing a check-in. Because when you do a meditation, that helps put you at ease. It helps put you in the present and helps relax you for the night.
If you do a check-in, then you're going to be like pounding your head against the pillow and the wall and going, well, I wasn't able to do this, or that, or I didn't feel this way or that way, and God, it was a crappy day. So sometimes when you're asking yourself the question, it may roust more crap than what you want at night.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would tend just to say grateful for the day and release any and all tensions, smoke coming out the back, or meditation like Triple P mentioned. But, yeah, I feel like that's a much kinder, gentler way to put your night, at a finish.
But do what works best for you. For some people, maybe questions and check-ins is better than meditation. It depends on the person. So here are some other questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to skip that part because it's kind of a duplicate of the previous section. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Don't be too hard on yourself, for you are not alone. Many of us will answer yes to these questions if we are being honest, and most of us spend too many moments of our day diminishing its quality by getting too wrapped up in the doing. Even in my recovery, I find myself slipping from time to time back into unhealthy doing. Recognizing the problem is the first step to healing. The good news is, from that awareness, we can grow from the less than good days of being. We could begin to experience life the way we were meant to, with peace and joy. All it takes to begin the change is 3 simple steps. The first step is to be more conscious before you drift off to sleep about how you are living your life, regardless of the things that you get done or do not get done. Use today as an example. Reflect, learn, and grow from the hours that you experienced. Next, the doing. Of course, you will have to do something, but prioritize the living component over the doing component for the upcoming 24 hours. And finally, write a to-be list instead of a to-do list for tomorrow. It might look something like this. Tomorrow I will be mindful, aware, peaceful, a person who seeks reasons to smile and laugh, loving, appreciative, forgiving, thoughtful, supportive, still, quiet, faithful, honest, a person who simply wants to be. The quality of your life is determined by who you are, not what you accomplish. We are, after all, human beings, not human doings. Let's base the value of our day on that small bit of wisdom and live accordingly. Just be. Now settle down and have a good night's sleep. You have earned it. Well, it's morning, so not yet. But that's written by Nancy Daly from tinybuddha.com. Do we have any final thoughts before we wrap up for our break?
Not really.
But yeah, like I said, do what's most comfortable for you. For us, for Harmony and me at least, just letting go and doing meditation works best for the two of us, because if we start on a thinking train, then we won't ever get to sleep. Yeah. But like I said, for some people, it may be beneficial to them to check on how they're feeling. I could see that especially being true for people who have trouble gauging how they're feeling throughout the day. I know several people who are, I don't want to say numb to their feelings, but are not conscious of them because they're so focused on doing what they need to do throughout the day that they are not connected with how they're feeling about what's going on.
Exactly.
So I could see how that could be beneficial, although maybe don't do it right before you go to bed. Maybe do it a little bit beforehand so that you have time to kind of process and step away from that process before you relax and go to bed. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and take another break on the Right Morning Show. When we come back, it's Thoughtful Thursday. So we're going to go ahead and get into our Thoughtful Thursday topic. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to talk about just yet, so we'll find out when we come back. You're listening to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Don't go anywhere.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives.
And we're back to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. And welcome back to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to get into Thoughtful Thursday. We're going to read a couple of articles from Futurism.com that I think are pretty interesting. First off, scientists 3D print living brain cells. A team of scientists using a new laser technique managed to print 3D living functioning mouse brain cells in the lab.
Wow.
Most of the neurons, specifically dorsal root ganglion neurons, survived for over 2 days as they were printed, making them viable tools for preclinical research, according to research printed in the journal Micromachines. While the ability to print out living neurons may conjure up images of transplants to replace cells lost from brain injuries or neurodegenerative diseases, the scientists behind the work explained in a press release that that's not quite what they're shooting for. In general, people often leap to conclusions when we talk about bioprinting. Concordia University graduate student and study co-author Hamid Orami said in the release. They think that we can now print things like human organs for transplants. While this is a long-term objective, we are very far from that point. But there are still many ways to use this technology.
Oh, yeah, they're 3D printing chicken nuggets at KFC.
Oh, my gosh. Even if the goal is not neuron transplants, the team does hope that their 3D printed brain cells will help in the clinic by improving medical research. The goal, Orimi said, is to replace animal models for new pharmaceutical tests by eventually printing and experimenting on human neurons. Not only would that reduce the number of animals killed in the name of science, but it could also make preclinical research more accurate. Testing experimental drugs on lab-printed human tissue would give doctors a better idea of how well those drugs work when they test on mice or other animals, as treatments that work on one species don't always perform as well on others. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of brains, brain protein named after Sonic the Hedgehog may be key to treating Parkinson's. A team of scientists say they've identified a possible new way to treat Parkinson's disease and improve the quality of life for patients, thanks in a strange twist to a protein named after the video game character Sonic the Hedgehog. In patients with Parkinson's, the brain loses the neurons that produce the brain molecule dopamine. Treatments exist to replace dopamine with a molecule called L-DOPA, but doing so also tends to cause involuntary tremors known as L-DOPA-induced dyskinesia. However, coupling L-DOPA treatment with agonists that increase the activity of a protein named Sonic Hedgehog seems to prevent these tremors, according to animal research published in the journal Communications Biology on Wednesday. The discovery not only reveals new insight into Sonic Hedgehog's previously unknown role as a neurotransmitter, but could also lead to a better, more accessible treatments for Parkinson's disease patients, if that is the animal research translates to human patients. Typically, tremors are counteracted by deep brain stimulation, so the emergence of a less complicated treatment could make a huge difference in the lives of patients who have Parkinson's. Deep brain stimulation doesn't help everyone. It's very invasive, and not all people are eligible for the surgery, study co-author and CUNY School of Medicine professor Andreas Kottmann said in a press release. The procedure is also not accessible to everyone. Sonic Hedgehog, which is inhibited by another protein called robotnikinin, helps embryos form, but scientists had no idea it also functions as a neurotransmitter. By discovering that the same dopamine-producing neurons killed off by Parkinson's also produce SHH, the CUNY scientists said they have a better shot at restoring a Parkinson patient's brain to its healthiest pre-disease state, because they know now to replace more of the molecules eradicated by the disease. This is still a long way off, not the least because the current research was conducted on mice and primates, but if future studies continue to show a therapeutic benefit, we may soon find ourselves with better and more accessible treatment for a debilitating neurological condition. Very, very cool. Let's see here if we can find some more interesting articles. Oh gosh, interesting. First of a kind supplement is made from 100% human milk. True Lacta is unlocking the potential of human milk bionutrients. Everyone knows that a mother's milk contains the essential components that help us grow from chubby babies into strong, healthy, intelligent adults. However, scientists have discovered that many of the same components in breast milk that help babies can also aid adults in a variety of ways. Research out of UC San Diego Health Services has found human milk fights immune disorders, viral and bacterial pathogens, and chronic inflammation. If you're ready to biohack your body with the help of human milk, you need to know about True Lacta, the world's first daily supplement made from 100% human milk. Interesting. I'm not going to read the rest because the rest of this sounds pretty much like an advertisement, but that's pretty interesting. that they made a supplement out of human milk. All right, so that's pretty much it from Future.com. Harmony, have you heard of anything interesting in the news or anything that you've been reading lately?
Actually, yesterday, I had an email come to me. And, of course, me and my crazy, thing with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It was, what moon phase were you born under determines the type of personality and where you are in your soul's evolution.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I was born under a full moon, and it says that I am either the fool or the guru, or both at the same time. There are also descriptions for like the waning, waxing, gibbous, balsamic, different phases, and there's 8 of them, so they're really interesting. But I get little interesting newsletters like that from California psychics, so that was interesting. Other than that, there's like not a lot that's coming up or coming to like except for what I said at the beginning. Was I did hear that KFC was making 3D printed nuggets at one of their restaurants.
Let me see if I could pull up an article about that.
And they're also making 3D printed homes for people.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was just about to possibly read an article about economic sustainability of tiny homes, but 3D printed homes could also.
And it looks like evidently
way.
the 3D printing thing is coming to be like something that's going to be really on the rise here.
I could definitely see that. Okay, so I found the article with KFC. This was actually a year ago, July 19th. If you're craving chicken nuggets, perhaps I can interest you in some 3D printed ones from KFC. This is from Mashable.com. The fast food restaurant chain has officially announced it's partnering with a Russian research laboratory. Wow, I completely butchered that
word.
From
Kentucky to
laboratory. 3D printed solutions to develop technology for what it calls meat of the future, or in other words, laboratory-produced chicken nuggets. Not only will this be the first of its kind, but the nuggets will apparently look and taste a lot like KFC's original chicken. Producing 3D printed chicken is also more environmentally friendly than standard meat. According to the press release, 3D bioprinting solutions is working on developing additive bioprinting technology using chicken cells and plant material, allowing it to reproduce the taste and texture of chicken meat. Interesting. I just got blocked off by an ad, and I can't close it, so we're gonna move on. But that we got the gist of it at least. That's pretty cool. That they're I know from what I've heard, they've been working on ways to make vegan meat possible, like actually growing meat, making meat that does not require killing any animals, which I thought was really cool as well.
That's nice, but I hope it tastes good.
From what I hear, it tastes just like regular meat.
Interesting.
So that's pretty cool. Let's go to TED Ideas and talk about the tiny home fad, as we call it. Since 1950, the average size of a new single-family home in the U.S. has more than doubled, from around 950 square feet to over 2,000 square feet. And new constructions in Canada, New Zealand, and Australia are similarly supersized. But as house prices rise, wages remain stagnant, and rampant consumerism threatens our planet, more people are starting to question if bigger is better. In recent decades, tiny homes have emerged globally as innovative, affordable, and quite frankly, adorable. They're also affordable. Housing options for aspiring homeowners. No longer just a trend for minimalists and millennials, tiny homes, which are typically under 400 square feet, stand out as a promising solution to the affordable housing crisis. the negative environmental impacts of development and emissions generated by powering large homes. While it's unclear exactly how many tiny homes are currently in the U.S., it is clear that the demand is rising, especially amid the remote working boom brought on by the pandemic. According to one analysis, the tiny home market is projected to grow by $3.3 billion globally over the next 4 years, with more than half of that growth being in North America. We have plenty of homes. We're just using them extremely inefficiently, says Washington-based Zach Giffen, co-host of Tiny Home Nation on Netflix, co-host of the Operation Tiny Home podcast, and vice president of the Tiny House Industry Association. We could solve our housing problems by just cutting more trees down, or we could build small spaces that don't require anywhere close to the same amount of materials and do not require nearly as many resources to heat and cool them.
That's about half the size of my apartment. Where would you put, like, all your kids and stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, if you're a family.
Yeah, I was going to say,
if you're single, or you're just a couple with maybe one child, but yeah.
So globally, buildings are responsible for about 40% of energy-related greenhouse gas emissions, and not surprisingly, research shows that house size is one of the biggest predictors of home energy use. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, though, but this is a pretty cool article. You could check it out at ideas.ted.com. They even have some pictures of really pretty-looking tiny homes as well. I'm sure you could find others as well.
Yeah, check out the 3D printed houses also, because those are coming up too.
Yeah. A lot of these tiny homes are also mobile and have wheels, so you can move them around, which it probably is not ideal if you're living in Tornado Alley, but
no.
There you go. All right, well, we only got 2 minutes left in the show, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up here on the Wright Morning Show. But first off, coming up next at 10 a.m. is the Democracy Now! News podcast. So get your latest news and special interviews for the day from Democracy Now! So stay tuned for that in just a couple of minutes. And then from 2 to 3 p.m. today, we got Big Crime Rush, which is a new podcast being conducted by two of the Guardian Media Group staff members, Holly and Katie. So be sure to check that out. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 6 to 7 p.m., we have M Week returning for her show, Rainbow Remedy, where she showcases LGBTQ music artists and other pop culture artists that are LGBTQ.
There we go.
So that is on the schedule for today's, I almost said today's show.
Listening enjoyment.
Yes, on WWSU Radio, so be sure to tune in for that. Everybody, thank you for listening in to the Wright Morning Show. We are here every Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WWSU Radio. Notice I said Tuesday to Friday because there is a new morning show coming on Mondays called Coaches and Coffee with Shay Neal and Parker Testa, which is being hosted from Ray Cafe in the Ross-Sewing College of Business. So that'll be a cool morning show, and I'll be kind of collabing with them on that as well. So I think that'll be a pretty cool show. Everybody, stick around for Democracy Now! Coming up next on WWSU, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow morning.
You're listening to WWSU 106.9 FM, Fairborn, Dayton, Dayton's right choice.
Hey, this is Mike Fury of Dangerous Muse, and you're listening to 106.9 Dayton's right choice. Turn it up.